Hey team, we are doing candid coffee with Candace. There we go. That's a fun name to say, right? We're in a little coffee shop, or where we wish we were in a coffee shop, right? Make it a little bit fun today. I've got she's got a water. I've got my Hershey's mug. Oh, it disappeared. It's a magic mug. Ooh. How are you doing today, Candace?
Not too bad. I'm just trying to get over some allergies. I don't know what the air has brought in coldness, and then it's just causing me to sneeze and allergies. So I apologize in advance if that if I have to sneeze.
Well, the cool thing is that it's so cold outside that I thought, this little background would be fun because it feels like it should be snowing, but it's not snowing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put some fake snow up there and call it fun. Plus, we got some cookies, we got some coffee, got some warm blankets over on this side. There we go. And I fade out for some reason, so I'm part ghost today. So it's going to be a fun video, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So let's talk a little bit about the change in the market. So interest rates have gone up quite a bit in the last year. So we sent an email out to the team, and they've gone up over 4 points this year, which is 4% of the loan amount. So if you were at a 4% interest rate, that doesn't mean that it's a 8% interest rate, but it does cost, let's say you've got a $400,000 deal. At 4 points would be $16,000 to get the same rate this January as it was last January. It's kind of a crazy difference, huh?
Yeah, huge difference.
So this market, we're still going to see refinances. Home values have shot through the roof. It makes a lot of sense for people to pull equity out of their home at anything under 6.8% because that's what inflation is right now. Highest inflation ever. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I've done so many cash outs for our borrowers that have turned around, paid off a lot of debt, built a pool, just did things that they were, wanting to do, reinvest, which is, a very smart way to use that equity in your home. So it is really been a really good thing for homeowners.
Yeah, paying off debt, taking money out to invest. A lot of people taking money out to invest right now. S&P had a wonderful year again. It's been on an amazing roll, right? So we were just running a scenario the other day. If somebody took 300 grand out of their house, even at a higher interest rate, they still almost make six figures by reinvesting that money. It's crazy when you think about it that way. Oh, I think we lost you. Technical difficulties.
No, I'm so sorry. I had a sneeze coming on, and I just didn't want to sneeze on camera, so I turned it off. I'm sorry.
Hey, no, it's all good. We don't edit these things because it makes it a lot more fun. But even though refinances have been great, they're going to slow down quite a bit now that the rates are higher, right? And so we've been trying to get our team to re-engage all of our purchase clients and our realtors since October. Why do you think it's so important to start that home search now in the winter months than wait until summer?
Well, that gives you the ability to prepare yourself, and being prepared leads to an amazing experience to purchase a home. Um, it allows you to have a better opportunity to purchase a house that you just absolutely have fallen in love with after you're pre-approved, right? Gives you the time to maybe improve your credit score if there's any room for improvement, regardless if you're in a qualified score or not. There's always room for improvement for everybody's score, unless you're at an 850.
Yeah.
So it being prepared is extremely, extremely important. Now, if you are purchasing a house here in the winter months, this is a really good time to purchase because it gives you less competition out there. So when you start looking for houses in the peak season, right, which is the summertime, the summer months when the sun is out, it's beautiful, school is out, people want to move, not during the school year, you're going to have a ton of competition. And the opportunity for your offer to get accepted is that percentage is going to go down. But during the winter months, and this is a great time, less competition. Nobody wants to move during the winter time, so you can potentially even get a lower price on a house, um, and just overall just get your offer accepted with ease.
It's so very true. I've been a property investor for 20 years. I know I'm the old guy now, but I'm telling you, like as soon as I got into college, I was buying investment properties. I never buy them in the summertime. I buy in the winter when the prices are better and there's a lot less competition. And I sell in the summer when there's a ton of competition because especially these last few years, what'll happen is somebody will list their house for 300,000 and it's a nice house. So then they get an offer at 300, then the other person's 305, 310, 320, 350. And now you're paying, 50, $60,000 more for a property because you're buying it in that peak season when demand is like this and supply is like this. This time of the year, right? The demand's still high. This is a very, very good housing market. Rates are going up and people don't care. No matter what you get, it's cheaper than renting, right? Rental rates are going through the roof. Everything, the value of the dollar is falling right now. So this is a good time to buy in before things get really crazy, if they ever get crazy. Even if they normalize from now, it's still a really good time to buy in because now the demand is still here, but it's not like the summer months when the demand's up there. Does that make sense? Because the supply is still like this. And builders are charging huge premiums on these houses right now. And sellers are making extra money when they're selling their house. A lot of people are, selling their house in suburbia, taking that extra couple few $100,000 that they make and just moving just outside, maybe to the country. A lot of us work from home now. So you don't have to live in the city anymore. It's nice to
Right.
be able to, you can get a lot more house, and it's shocking what values people are seeing out there. They can buy back better than they did when they were selling their house. So, but you got to work with a professional like Candace to be able to find you those deals and such. But come April, all those deals are going away. Last year, our purchase season started in March. Do you remember that? End of February, early March, people were like, hey, we want to get qualified now. We waited till May last year and we got outbid. So now they're pushing it forward, pushing it forward. So if you're thinking about buying a house this year, January is really the time to get qualified. Like credit, like Candace said, make sure your credit's in line, make sure your down payments ready or good to go, right? So that way, if you do find a house now, put it under your contract. I can't move into it for 60 days. Great, put it under a 60-day contract. You can do that. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on all that,
I
Candace?
mean, I think that, regardless if you can't move into it 60 days, you can still get a 30-day contract and not move into it for 30, 60 days. I know that there's a stipulation on how long you have until after you close to move into it. Maybe you can even do a lease back of some sort. I mean, there's a lot of different options, I see it too many times that people are waiting to buy a house because it doesn't align with their schedule, right? Or with the plans, and it has gotta, it's gonna happen at a certain day or a certain month. And it is just a very tough market out there during a lot of times where it's convenient to you. It's a tough market. Unfortunately, that's how that's how it is, right? It's convenient to you, which is the summer months. That's when it's tough. So make those sacrifices to make it happen during the winter time. It will benefit you. It will, it is worth it to do that. Now, if you decide, summer is absolutely the only time that we can move. Absolutely. I mean, I understand that. But, going back to Dave's point, I mean, getting pre-approved now, going through an underwrite, getting in front of an underwriter, just getting that solid pre-approval done will really, really make your experience a ton better, right? And in addition to that, sellers like to see that you are pre-approved versus just pre-qualified, which
That's
a
huge.
lot of other lenders do not go through the pre-approval process. They do not go through, they will do the pre-qualification, which is, verbally obtaining information, running your credit, maybe getting a pay stub, but it doesn't go through the whole, song and dance of, getting in front of an underwriter. For you as a buyer, the easy, very basic documentation is all we need. For us as a lender, we go through that extra couple steps so that we could go ahead and get that pre-approval. Once you have that pre-approval in hand, it gives you a much better opportunity for sellers to accept your offer, because they're going to be like, hey, this guy's solid. He's been already reviewed by underwriter. He is a solid buyer. He's serious. So I have confidence that we're going to be able to, that we're going to close on time, and that they're not going to fall out, and they're not going to walk, because they are serious.
Yeah, yeah, that's huge because when there's this much demand and this much supply, and you've got this like piece of junk letter from some online place that nobody's ever heard of before, then the seller's gonna be like, "Who is this?" But you're right. Candace's loan officers will actually call the sellers or the listing agent, whoever the point of the decision maker is, right? And they will say, "Hey, listen, my buyer's already been through underwriting. This this is as good as gold. Probably
Right.
better than gold right
I
now."
mean, in addition, to your point, Dave, I mean, in addition to getting the pre-approval done and, having that piece of paper and, which is gold, right? I mean, it's basically same as cash, like as a cash buyer. I mean, and even better than cash buyer, because cash buyers are very, very flaky. They see one thing wrong, and then that's a lot of money that they got to fork out. They are very flaky. So if you have somebody who's pre-approved, I mean, to me that is better than a cash buyer. um, but in addition to that, my team will call the seller's agent and just kind of reiterate how solid of a buyer they are, and how much we're ready to get started and we want to get to work. And basically just have that open line of communication. Here's my information, call me if you have any questions, kind of thing. And I think that puts them at ease a lot more, and more susceptible to going ahead and accepting the offer that our borrower puts in.
Yeah, I would 110% agree with that because there's so many people in our business these days, and there's so much competition for buying a house. There's so many lenders. Every street corner has a lender on it. Every street corner has a realtor on it. Every street corner has a title company on it. I think it was Nair said something, National Association of Realtors, sorry to use acronyms, but said something like, almost 70% of newly licensed agents have never even closed on a house. And it's like, oh my gosh, like you're getting advice from somebody who's never even closed on a house. Now, they'll all say, I've been in real estate for 20 years, but living in a house, I guess technically means that you've been in real estate, but you haven't been selling real estate for 20 years. And that even if you were selling real estate for 20 years, it doesn't mean that you're good at it. If you haven't closed on a house in 3 years, it doesn't matter if you've got 17 years of experience. You clearly haven't kept up with the times. So it's really imperative that like we've got a really, really solid foundation of realtors that know what they're doing and know how to put in offers, know how to request things. We can get seller concessions still in this market. Most realtors say that that's a myth, but we're getting it all the time, right? We're doing a VA loan right now. Buyer literally only money out of pocket's $500 for an appraisal on a purchase. So it's crazy. If you have the right team, you can really be put up for success. The trouble is when you're working with amateurs, you're going to get amateur results. And the problem with that is that a lot of people get outbid. So if you're a loan officer and you're watching our video, right, I'd highly encourage you to call back all of your clients that you qualified last year that it got outbid a bunch of times, especially the people who didn't get qualified until May, June, July, August. They're that heat season, right? Call those people back and just say, hey, I know we got outbid a bunch of times last year. Let's start our house search a month, 2 months, 3 months earlier. Let's find that dream home while your competition's low so you don't get outbid again this year. And, that's the best route to go.
Yeah,
And if
that's a
they
good
get
sign.
if they got a house to sell, that's okay. We can close on the other one. We can do a simultaneous closing. It's easy. We've been doing this a long time, right? 2 decades. So we know what we're doing, right? Candace's team closes, $5+ million a month in business. That's a lot, right? And so she knows what she's doing. And we really need to surround ourselves with pros, not the guy that's like, hey, I've closed $5 million in the last 20 years I've been in real estate, right? We want to go with somebody who closes, 20 plus loans in a month. There's a big difference between somebody that said 20 loans over their career span and somebody who's done 20 finances in just 1 month. I mean, there's a huge difference, huge difference, right? And so that's why learning from good people, whether you're a home buyer or a realtor or a loan officer or even a title rep, you got to work with good people. You got to take all these things into consideration. You got to help your home buyers find homes, have a successful transaction. Don't get ripped off. Don't overpay for a house. There's so many different strategies we can use to make sure we're in a good spot, because even though the real estate market's kind of going like this right now, shooting through the roof, and it will be for the next few years, you don't know what the future is going to bring. So the goal is get them, the best possible situation now, so that there aren't any, hiccups in the future, and make sure we're all in the best situation possible. That cold is killing you, isn't it?
I'm so sorry.
I feel so bad for you, Candace.
What's that?
I'd have to send you over some tea. This is actually what they call it, um, Turkish tea or something.
I don't know. Whatever, whatever helps.
Wow.
Whatever helps, I will take. That's the thing here. Dave. I mean, you hardly get sick. You're just that type of person. You just don't get sick, and I really don't hardly ever get sick either. But because we work from home, because we're remote, which is nice, and we're able to do this anywhere that we go. I mean, it just never stops. It doesn't. It's not like, what, I got a cold and I'm just gonna forward my calls to voicemail. It just doesn't stop. So I understand the sense of urgency that everybody has. I understand the your desire to purchase a home, and to really kind of be creative in this kind of market. It does not allow for anybody to go unavailable or to take, I mean, time off that we just don't have that ability, right? Or we just don't have that luxury. And it's not that we want to take time off. It's just the fact that I want to be there for my borrowers, and I want to be there for my team, and I want to make sure that everybody has an enjoyable experience, not just for our customers, but for my team as well, as a whole.
That's so very true. Like Tam was putting together an approval letter for somebody who's making an offer on a house today, and she was working till 9 o'clock last night putting that together. And nobody at like the banks are going to do that, and I know because I used to run the purchase side of I won't name the bank because I don't want to talk negative of any place, but it would always be like a widget counter for the most part, right? And I don't want to diss the big banks, but they just really don't care about individuals as people. Like I was always A136295. They didn't care about me as an employee, right? Even the ones middle management, right? Couldn't care less. They don't really care. Now, the individuals might care about other humans, but you kind of get washed out over the years. Nobody's going to send out an approval letter at 9 o'clock at night or work the weekends like half of Candace's team does, right? So it's just we kind of get that white glove treatment because we have some of the best people on the team. And the cool thing about our loan officers is that they're so experienced. If they're working the weekend, like sending out an approval letter could take us 20, 30 minutes, and we can do most of that from our phones. So if you're making an offer on a house, our loan officers have the best tech so that they can shoot that over to you quickly. And if you're already conditionally approved, just send us an email. In fact, a lot of our team members have LOAs. And we've got one that's amazing, and she'll send out, like, he was working at like 9 o'clock last night too. Who has an LOA working? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm using acronyms again. Loan officer assistant, right? Working at 9 o'clock at night to make sure that the borrower has a great experience, right? Not a good experience, a great experience. Because this is a referral, and they're going to give us even more referrals. So I don't know. I think that going that extra mile in this kind of environment, because America is kind of turning into the what's the least I can do and get the most, right? And we don't want that mentality. We don't want the fast food restaurant type of mentality, right? We're kind of almost like, we don't want to, I don't want to diss any fast food places. I'll talk highly of one, Chick-fil-A, right? We want to be the Chick-fil-A
That's your favorite
of
spot.
the mortgage business, right? Our pleasure to help you out, right? That's our pleasure to do that, right? I like sitting there and having a lemonade. It's a fresh squeezed lemonade. It's delicious. And somebody comes by and says, "Can I refill that?" You don't get that eating fast food somewhere else. They're not even looking for a tip. I love that. People that go above and beyond just to go above and beyond, right? You kind of expect that at a sit down restaurant because they want, a tip, right? A good tip. And we always should tip our people well. But, I think our team goes above and beyond for the sake of going above and beyond. Wouldn't you agree? It feels
Oh
good.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely,
I don't know. I like to go
absolutely.
above and beyond for the sake of going above and beyond because in the end, I feel like personally, I feel better, right? I feel better about myself.
Right.
I can lay my head on my pillow at night knowing that I accomplished something great today. I did something that was bigger. I was part of a bigger team. I'm building something bigger than what I had before, right? But
Oh yeah, absolutely. And not to sound selfish or anything, but yeah, I mean, I do that not only to help our borrowers, to get into a home they absolutely want, even if it takes doing an updated pre-approval letter on a Friday night, 8:30 p.m., 9 p.m. The fact when to get that contract, I mean, it makes me feel so good, and I feel happy. I feel joyful. This is kind of the fruits of all of my labor. I mean, it is amazing. It's a great feeling.
And the thing that I like about you, Candace, well, really all the managers on our team, whether it's you or Tam or Brandy or whoever, any of the managers on our teams, right? The thing that I love about all of y'all is that like Candace has got a brand new loan officer. He spent, I guess, a year at a different lender and they didn't teach him anything, right? And he's a really good guy. He's smart, he's hungry, he wants to win, right? And Candace will answer his calls on the weekends or at night to help him solve. Heck, I even like solve some random stuff where I'm like, "Hey, my computer's not working right," right? So I love that the leaders that are part of our group, right, like Candace, right, go above and beyond for the people that are part of our team, and that culture kind of trickles down to our clients and our customers, our business partners like our realtors and our financial planners and the title people that we use, and the insurance people that we use. It all kind of combines to fit that culture of, it's our pleasure to serve you, and we want to go above and beyond because somebody went above and beyond for me, right? I think so. What do you think,
Right.
Candace?
No, no, no. I agree. I agree. I mean, I would love to go above and beyond because that speaks volumes of my team. It speaks volumes of me, and I think that the everybody who's involved in the transaction really sees that. They hear that, and that's a very memorable thing for them to have. So I think it all around. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. You go above and beyond. It's no-brainer.
Yeah, I love it because if you're refinancing and paying off all of your debt or investing money into the market or using it to buy some investment homes because homes are shooting through the roof right now. We've been doing that a lot lately, right? Or buying your first house. Like all those are such a wonderful, enjoyable experience. There's a ton of paperwork that goes along with the mortgage, right? You got to literally sign your life away. You got to put out in your pay stubs and your IDs, your bank statements, and give them DNA samples and blood No, I'm just kidding. It feels like it some days, right? So it could be a bad experience, but having the right people, having the right culture makes it a good experience. It makes it a fun experience. It makes it enjoyable as uploading a whole bunch of docs is. But it should be a good, exciting time to you know take that refinance and pay off those two cars and those high interest credit cards and put yourself in a spot where you only have one monthly payment and now you're saving $1,000 a month. That should feel really good. Or you're walking into that first house and you're thinking, wow, this is so much better than my parents' house. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I get to move out of the basement. No, I'm kidding. It's so much fun. It should be awesome and exciting and not like I feel like our industry has been very almost like roboticized, right? They get like the lowest. I feel like a lot of our industry, the reason why there's a lender on every street corner is because they'll just kind of hire everybody, and banks don't even need to have them licensed, right? So that's messed up. Somebody's trying to teach you how to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're helping you with a three, four, $500,000 investment, and they're not even licensed. That blows my mind. But anyways, we digress. We won't talk bad about the banks. I'm sorry, I kind of went down that road again, right? Um, but I feel like there's so much misinformation. There's so many things out there that can cause the home buying process, the home refinancing process to kind of go astray, right? Get bad advice. I still see ads online that are like, get a 30-year fix at 1.99%. That's a lie, right? I mean, I guess you could, but you're going to be spending a boatload of money in closing costs. And even if they say there are no closing costs, your mortgage balance is going to go up by tens of thousands of dollars because they're lying, right? And I know it's clickbait, but so many people click that stuff. And I just feel like it's kind of diluted our industry a little bit. So I'm glad when I see people like your team, for instance, and you get a huge team, and every one of the people on that team don't use deception type practices, which is really, really cool. Um, there's so many ways to like uh, like those 1.99 interest rates to just throw all the costs into the mortgage, just roll it all in and not disclose it until 5 days before closing. And by then you're already committed, right? You pull out of the contract, you lose the house, and I feel like it's predatory. It's legal, but I feel like it's predatory because I went through that whole predatory phase back pre 2008, right? And it feels like that has come back quite a bit, right? There's a lot of deception in this business, and I love how all of our teams are just so very honest and upfront. And if not, we'd fire them because
Right.
we don't want that reputation out there because it's starting to grow back. People are like, I haven't seen this kind of stuff since 2007, and it's true, right? But the refi boom brought a lot more people to the table, right? We've been in a refi boom for 3 years, and you know, I would say we have some kind of bad business practices out there, and I love how your team doesn't participate in any of that, right? We do a lot of
Right.
videos like this that are educational. I think
Right.
educating not just our clients, but educating uh, loan officers, educating title people, educating insurance people, and financial planners, because financial planners have to know, right? They need to know that the 30-year fix isn't at 1.99% anymore without paying a boatload of cost, right? So if they've got that in their head and they see all these investments that are paying really well, they're going to make bad choices. So it's up to us to educate, 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 educate. I feel like we're more like teachers these days than finance people. Don't you feel like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a teacher. I'm a trainer. I'm a psychologist. I am a counselor. I mean, I'm a mortgage lender. So I'm a friend, and I think that all of that just comes with the territory. But also, because of the type of person that I am, I kind of put that out to my team as well. And and when it comes to hiring and having people join our team, and then that's one thing that I always look for, is right, is integrity, is good work ethic, and just overall ethics, right, being ethical. And really, and Dave, to be honest, and I know you know this, and for everybody who's listening, all of the any kind of buyer who's a refinance, there are so many different options to benefit your borrower, right? So we have to find that benefit, and we really need to make sure that that is something that your borrower will benefit from, right? And I have no problem, telling somebody, hey, this is not going to be good for you, right? Like, this is not going to be the right move for you. I have no problem doing that. Actually, I had to do that with somebody who was wanting to buy a very overly priced house, and I actually had to tell her, I do not feel like this is going to be a very financially smart decision for you. So,
I like that you say that, because there's so many people out there, and I saw it, just so you guys were watching. Like, Candace takes this for heart. She canceled 3 loans yesterday where people just were on the fence, refinances, and it made sense for them to refinance a month ago when rates were a lot lower, right? And the rate, these people are kind of on the fence, they're kind of hemming and hawing. Hey, I don't know if I read a refinance. I saw an ad online that says rates are going to drop again, and all this other stuff, right? All this clickbait, and they're kind of like, so they didn't get their paperwork in, they didn't lock in their loan, they wanted to wait and think about it. Well, most lenders would have just closed it anyways, whether it made sense for them to do it or not. Candace literally calls them up and says, and Tam and all the other leaders on our team are like, hey, I'm sorry, while you were thinking about it, we kept telling you rates were going to go up. This is the pricing today. Well, I saw this ad on Facebook that said it was, dropped to 1%. That's a lie. I mean, it is. You can click that. You'll get calls from, Bangladesh and everywhere else that'll be selling you everything from car insurance to online casinos and everything else, right? So go ahead and click that.
right.
But that's a lie. Like, it's just a lie, right? Here is
Right.
the market. I'm going to send you a screenshot of what the MBS has been doing, right? Mortgage-backed securities, and this is what interest rates are based off of. So look at it.
Right.
Yeah, wow, that did go up quite a bit. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense for you to do it now. We were trying to tell you that. We've been sending you emails. We've been calling you, constantly and saying, hey, we got to get these stocks and we got to lock in because rates are doing this. And they're like, no, I don't want to think about it. We're reading misinformation. And so I like how, like, your teams didn't go ahead and just close those loans anyways, just because, guys, they get paid when the loan funds, right? And they canceled the loans before they funded because they wanted to make sure they were doing the best job for their customers. And I love that about you guys. Like, I love that about you. And you followed up with those people. You told them 100 times, hey, it's going to go up. They didn't believe you. Most of your clients, 90% of them believed you and locked in, and they're so thankful and they're so grateful right now. But there's always that, like, 10% that are going to...
Small percentage that just does not know any better. Oh, I understand that they're going to go up, but I really don't think they're going to go up very much. And it's like, are you constantly looking at the mortgage-backed securities? And one thing too, the market is so volatile right now. You just don't know what's going to happen, right? And unfortunately, it's gone. The interest rates have gone up, the pricing has gone up, so it's gone in that direction. And anybody who was looking to refinance who didn't jump on it 30 days ago is really should be kicking themselves in the butt right now for not doing that.
Yeah.
Because over this past month, we've had a huge change in the market. I mean, probably one of the biggest changes in the market that we've seen. So it's, sometimes it's a good thing, maybe we can pivot to benefit, not maybe lowering your interest rate, lowering your payment, but maybe paying off debt instead. Like, let's kind of see what other tangible benefits that you can get in this case, that it's not going to be lowering that interest rate because now it costs, X amount of more money for you. And the amount of savings over time, I mean, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of options, but those options really kind of dwindle down when you sit on a loan, when you sit on a file and you sit on it and you just kind of contemplating, because it made sense 30 days ago and now it doesn't make as much sense. So
And the market might recover someday, it might not, right? I mean, who knows if we'll ever see 2% interest rates again? I mean, you can still get it,
right,
but it's just a lot more costly than it was 6 months ago, a year ago, right? The economy is different. It's like fuel prices, those have gone up. So many different things have gone up. Tesla stock, man, wish I would have bought that a year ago, right? Like there's so many things that in retrospect we're like, yeah, that would have been a great idea. Now, of course, those of you who are listening or watching this video are probably like, man, Tesla just crashed. You know what I'm saying? But at this point, let's like shoot through the roof. So you never know what the future is going to bring. So I'll say one in the hand's better, always better than two in the bush, right? And I always like to listen to professionals. Like I've been a property investor, I've been a stock investor for many, many years. Through my 20s, I lived off of ramen noodles and I invested every penny I could. And I made some good choices, I made some bad choices. The mortgage business takes up so much of my life that I don't have time to watch stock. So I give it to the professionals. And oh my gosh, I thought I was a good trader. Like, holy moly, they're so much better than me. And I'm thinking to myself, the most expensive thing that I've ever done was to hire amateurs or, the lowest cost people out there, the people who didn't know what they were doing, including myself, right? Everybody wins in a good market. Not everybody knows how to pick the right layout, right? It's like mortgages, right? It's kind of like it's very, very similar to stock, right? When in a good market, when everything's dropping, just about every mortgage you pick is a good pick, right? Just like stock market, when everything's going up, no matter what stock you pick, it's a good pick. But
right,
when things are changing, like right now, when the rates are going up, you don't know if conventional or Fannie or Freddie program is going to be better. You don't know if FHA is going to be better or VA if you're a veteran, right? What about the USDA? Where are you going to be purchasing at? What do you mean Freddie's got a guideline change? What do you mean Fannie Mae? Like if you don't know all these different topics, if you don't have all these different programs, like the construction loans that Candace's team does, or all the bank statement loans that her team does, you don't know that they exist. If you were to call up the banks and be like, "Hey, I'm self-employed. I can't show my income, but I've got it all in the bank," the banks are going to be like, "I don't care if you're a client. Get out of here. Kill me, Smalls. Get out of here." Right? They're going to kick him out the door. Right? I don't know how many people that are turned down, and we call them up and we get them into a house or help them refinance or help them get into investment properties where they were gone to this big box place and they said no, and then they go over to Candace's team or Tam's team or whoever's team is just like, "Hey, here you go. This was easy, right?" In fact, one of the managers on Candace's team just approved a guy that was turned down in another place, VA loan. All right, they have overlays, and we didn't have those overlays, and it makes me happy because he's a friend of a friend. So that makes me really, really happy.
right.
And
Yeah.
the husband of one of our realtor partners, so it's when you can help somebody like that, and they're like, "Wow, man, thanks so much," because I almost gave up. I
Right.
walked into the local place and they said no. I gave up. I'm like, "Don't give up. Come to us." Candace even has somebody on her team that fixes credit, so it's crazy. It's crazy. So I don't know. I'm always just so excited about that. So what are your thoughts, Candace? We're kind of just chatting here, very free form. We're talking to loan officers. We're talking to people looking to refinance. We're talking to home buyers. We're talking to title people. There's so much that you could take away from just a candid conversation like this between somebody who's as experienced as Candace. I mean, there's so many gold nuggets that she's given you all so far today. What's another gold nugget you can give out to all of our listeners here?
Ah, gosh. I mean, there's so many. One thing that I was actually discussing this morning with somebody as for all my loan officers out there, right? All my licensed lenders or licensed loan officers who are just trying to find more business and just trying to get more deals in the pipeline. I don't want you to just kind of focus. I don't want you to focus in on realtors, right? I mean, yes, realtors are great, but they are not the only source of referrals out there. They are probably, I mean, gosh, realtors, I would say, is a great source of referrals, but they're not the only source out there. So, I mean, any kind of person that that has influence on just a large amount of people, that is a great source of referral, right? Anybody who maybe is a business owner who has employees, that is a great source of referrals. Builders are great sources of referrals as well. But I want you guys to really kind of think outside the box here, right? So think outside the box and who can be a good source of referral. I know we had talked about this before, but my chiropractor, right? My chiropractor sees people, I mean, in and out and in and out. And I mean, he's such a great person, great guy, does a great job. When I show up, there's somebody leaving. And when I'm leaving, somebody's showing up. That is a great source of referrals right there. My massage lady, right? I mean, she's got a full schedule. I asked if she can take care of one of my family members, and she was like, absolutely, Candace, this is my schedule. What it looks like, this is my availability. And I'm like, Jesus, girl, you are booked up solid. She is just booked, and she's the hustler. So that is a great source of referral. And I just want you guys to understand that it does not always have to come from realtors.
In fact, if you're a loan officer, to Candace's point, if you're a loan officer, you should be giving it as much business back to the realtors as they're giving you. Because we've got so many people that are reaching out to us on a daily, weekly basis. Tons of people that are like on our website, hey, I want to buy a house. Don't just call those people and try to qualify them to buy a house. Call those people, help them get qualified to buy a house, but then also team them up with one of your great realtor partners, right? Don't just be a giver. I think 2022 should be all about giving. What can we give to other people to help them out, right? And a lot of these people who are buying homes are working with amateurs that don't know what they're doing. And we can pull the stats for any realtor and we can tell you, hey, this is a great realtor to work with. Look at how well they've done. Anybody can take some pictures and sell a house in this market. I mean, that's really easy. Homes sell themselves. I'm shocked that realtors are making like 3% on these like $600,000 homes. They're making $18,000 and they're not even taking pictures. They hire, the seller pays $500 to another company, comes in and takes pictures. The realtor pops those pictures up on the MLS and just says, hey, Dave, right? Like that's all they do these days. I'm like shocked. I'm like, not all realtors. There are a lot of amazing realtors out there that go through. So I've even seen realtors clean a house or reorder the house or get it ready for sale, right?
I've seen realtors go and fix something that maybe come back on an inspection, or maybe the buyer just was not happy with it, so a realtor went out there and just took care of it, himself.
Exactly.
And I want to also kind of reiterate that the realtors that we have within our team, right, that we partner with, those are the type of realtors that we have.
That'll go out.
Those are the type of realtors and go out and fix it.
Payday realtors, the fixing realtors.
The above and beyond, the white glove treatment. I mean, my realtor personally, who is one of my realtor partners, who helped me purchase my house. I mean, even after we closed, I mean, he was sending me a ton of things pertaining to my neighborhood, pertaining to my house. He was sending me like the new phases of this neighborhood and how it's going to grow. I mean, he didn't have to do that. We were closed already and done and funded, and I was already in my house, and he didn't have to do that. But, he did that, and he went above and beyond. And those are the type of realtors that, if I have an approved buyer and I got, I'm working with somebody who says, Candace, I want to buy a house. What do I have to do? Get them pre-approved. And then I'm going to connect them with one of my realtor partners who just have that type of work ethic, because I want my borrower to have a good experience. I want to have a good experience, and I want my realtor to have a good experience. want the sellers to have a good experience. So, that's why it's so important to really, if you are a buyer, all my buyers, if you are a buyer and you work with a lender, you get them it is super important for you to work with a team who works well together,
Yes,
right? So
that's
you work
huge.
with a loan officer who works well with a realtor. You guys work as a team.
Yeah, the loan officer and realtor that connect once a week and do an update. I know it's only 4 weeks before most loans close. Um, this time of the year could be 2 weeks, right? July could be longer, right? Because there's so many more people buying homes. But I'm thinking about it. You're right, Candace. Like having the right team, it's kind of like any kind of sport, whether it's basketball or baseball or football or whatever. If you got a great quarterback but your receiver's bad, and every time you throw him the ball, it hits him in the helmet, and he falls on the ground. You know, um, that's a bad team, right? That's a bad. You might have the most amazing quarterback, but if you don't ever see or a bad line, right? If the line just crumbles and crushes the quarterback after every single play, that's a bad team, right? And
Right.
your team is comprised of so many different people, and we can help make sure that you're part of the best team possible, and that you're working with people who do work well together. That's huge. That's huge. I'm glad that you said that. That's a definitely a gold nugget, because there's just too many people out there that, once again, amateurs. You don't want to buy a $500,000 house, make a $500,000 investment with people that kind of fly by night.
Right.
It's just kind of crazy. Especially so many people are unlicensed these days that are doing our work, right? It's kind of like going to the doctor. You're going in for surgery, right? You're going with us. You're going in for financial surgery. If you're going to a heart doctor, and one heart doctor's licensed and has gone through classes and gone through school and has their degree, and the other guy's just like, hey man, I thought I could make a lot of money being a heart doctor. So, yo, I'm here, brother. I'm gonna be like, I think I'm gonna go with a licensed professional than some guy that's over here that is just like, yo, I'll get this done. I'll get this done. I'll give it to you cheaper. I'm like, man, it's my heart. I don't want to.
Right. Right.
Yeah, we don't. But people that do that so many times. You're buying a $500,000 home, or even a $50,000 home. We don't want to invest $50,000 with this guy that's like, yo, I'm not licensed, but I get you set up. You know, it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
know
mean,
a
when
guy who
somebody's
knows a
like,
guy.
well,
Right?
when somebody's like handling your finances, handling a big chunk of money, handling your future, that's what we do. We're handling, and we're really setting you up for the future, right? On purchasing a home, refinancing, whatever. I mean, you really don't want to work with somebody who hasn't had that, gained that experience yet. Have you ever heard that saying? It's from a movie. Uh, Messing with my money is like messing with my emotions. You know,
Yeah,
so, it can cause people, you guys, to be emotional.
yeah,
And that's something that, when I first started as a loan officer, I mean, a lot of great people took a chance on me and, let me be their lender. And, I mean, it was really, really tough, because I really hold you guys at the highest regard, all my borrowers at the highest regard. They're putting their money on the line, and it's up to me to make sure that we reach the goal that they're looking for. I mean, it's hard, right? I mean, it puts a lot of pressure on somebody to do that. But at the same time, gosh, any borrowers who put up thousands of dollars and just put their trust in the lender or in their team, the title, the realtor, and everything. I mean, I can just imagine how stressful that could be for anybody who's not in the industry, somebody who's, buying a house for the first time. They have all this money on the line. It is extremely, extremely stressful.
biggest
So,
purchase, the biggest financial transaction actually that most people make in their life. Buying,
right,
selling a house.
exactly. Buying a
Yeah,
house.
yeah,
It's
it's
usually the biggest transaction. So,
yeah, biggest transaction in your life. Isn't that crazy?
right. Yeah, I mean, that's nuts. I look at my, my credit report, right, and I see credit cards, see car, see like, installment loans, and then bam, my mortgage is like the biggest number there. It's just, you know, so I mean, this is a big deal,
It
you know.
is.
And if people who maybe grew up in a situation where they just never saw homeownership in the cards for them, right? And actually coming in and being able to close on a house and buy a house, I mean, that is a huge deal for them. It's a huge accomplishment. So, and people, you know, work to save up every single penny that they've had or that they have to go ahead and put down on a house and buy a house. I mean, putting that money on the line that they work so very hard for, and that is a huge deal.
We got to think of it. Money is the hours of your life, right? If you make, um, 100 grand a year, just for easy numbers, right? You're buying a $500,000 house. If you're making 100 grand a year after Uncle Sam, you're probably making like $60,000 a year, right? So that means that that house is almost 10 years of your hard work to be able to buy that house, if you think about it that way. So I mean, that's your life, right? All those hours in the office, that's your life. And so many, it's so diluted down in our culture today. People just kind of like, just numbers on a piece of paper. No, this is your lifespan. That's huge, right? There are no mulligans in life. You don't get to be like, oh, you know what, I kind of screwed up a little bit. Let me rewind till I was 5 or 15. Like, that just doesn't happen. What's spent is spent. You don't ever get your life back after that. So you want to be extra careful with what you're doing and what you're deciding to do financially, because this is going to impact not just your life, but if you've got kids, this is a transgenerational decision, right? So like for me, I've got kids, and I bought investment houses for the kids because I want to think, I want them to be in a better spot than I was when I got out of college, right? I had nothing except for student loans, right? And at least they'll have a place to live. And if they don't want to live there, at least they've got income flowing in from it. So passive income, I mean, that's transgenerational wealth. This is how all the rich people get rich in America, right? It's not being the next Steve Jobs, right? It's not being the next Elon Musk. I mean, those guys are rich and they're brilliant and everything else, right? Not just in them, but no, most of Americans do well by just living off of far less than what they earn, and then managing their money responsibly, buying stock, buying real estate. Real estate usually is a lot better than stock too, because stock, you only make money off of it when you sell it. Now, real estate, you make money off of it when you sell it, but you also get that monthly rental check coming in every month, right? So you can build a lot of passive income from those monthly rental checks coming in every month. Now, if you're making $500 a month off of a rental property, you have 10 rental properties, you're making $5,000 a month. It's household income in America.
Right. And you have your buyers paying off your mortgage for you, or I'm sorry, your tenants paying off your mortgage for you.
Exactly.
I
So when
mean,
you go to retire, and it's flexible, so it's not fixed like Social Security where you're barely going to get anything. And I think that they're giving out like a whopping couple percent increase of Social Security. Woo! You'll be almost not in poverty level, right? But just a little bit higher in poverty. Who wants to live in poverty when they retire, right? But if you buy a lot of real estate and you manage it properly and you educate yourself and you make good decisions, then those houses pay off by the time you retire. You got 10 properties. Now, instead of making $500 a month, you're probably making $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month. Times 10, that's a lot of income. A whole lot
right,
more than Social Security, a whole lot more than 401k, right? A whole lot more than any type of investment that you can do. Not to
right,
mention, tax write-offs and all that other good stuff that you get too. But I'm just saying, for easy numbers, if you think about it, buying investment properties is by far the best thing anybody could do. Anybody with any type of common sense needs to realize that out of all the different investments that you could make. Now, don't get me wrong, you got to be savvy when you're buying and selling houses, right? You got to be savvy when you're choosing rent tenants. You got to be savvy when you're doing contractors to fix the toilet, right? You can't just be like, oh, Dave said it was easy and I can just throw all my money away. You got to be intelligent, right? And at least a little bit savvy, but you can build a good residual empire for yourself and for your children. That's not like when you pass away, that Social Security that goes back to the government. Sorry, pal, gone, right? But you pass away, all those properties go to your kids or
Right.
whoever else you want it to go to. That's transgenerational wealth. So anyhow, we could go off on a whole different topic on that. But if you're a loan officer, and then, well, I'm not just talking to home buyers right now. I'm talking to loan officers. I'm talking to title people. I'm talking to realtors right now. Y'all are in this business, right? You guys every day are in this business. I can't believe how many realtors are out there that see these amazing deals and they're like, I'll just list the property, quick, easy cash, rather than buying that house and turning it into cash flow for the next 50 years, right? One time pop or 50 years of income, not to mention helping their kids out, right? Don't worry about being the fancy realtor that has another Mercedes or has a flashy new hairdo and you're month to month on your car payments. Practice what you preach. Show people how to buy, invest, and build, right?
Right. And grow.
And grow. And then some people say, well, in 2008, the housing market crashed and everybody lost all their money. Yeah, everybody who sold, right? Like if you look at those markets, maybe that $200,000 house went down to 150,000, but now that thing's selling for 300, 350, 400, depending on your market. So yeah, it was going up in 2008. It ended up, but now it's going up even more. So 2005, 2022, right? Huge difference, right? So only the people who lost were the people who were amateurs and were afraid and sold all their stuff off and freaked out, right? The people who held on are doing great, doing better than before. So anyways,
Yeah.
I'll get off the soapbox now. I'm a big believer in building your own financial future rather than hoping that the government or some corporation or something. I spent years working as a bank employee. I climbed the chain to be a middle manager. I have a pension. You know how much my pension is after 8 years of dedicated service?
Like $50.
Yeah, $50 a month. Woo!
What? I got that right?
Yeah, you got it, nailed it on the head. It's actually like 58.72 or something like that. By the time I retire, I'll be able to buy a cheeseburger for that. You know what I'm saying? Like 8 years, I'll be able to have a cheeseburger after I'm old and decrepit, right? Like, well, I'm 80 years old. I'll be able to buy a cheeseburger that I probably shouldn't be eating anyways, and off of my whopping almost decade of my life of dedicated service, right? But on the flip side, during that time I was buying investment properties, and I sold some last year, and I paid off all of my debt and reinvested some money. It was fantastic, and that wasn't hardly comparatively. I want to say the amount of time I spent working on the investment properties as opposed to the amount of time that we spend working our 9 to 5. Or in my case, when you're a manager, it's like 9 to 9 because your salary, they don't want to pay you any extra, right? You kind of look at your cost, right? That cost me a lot of years of lifespan. You got to think of it that way, right? Where you could have invested. I could have invested. I'm trying to teach you from my mistakes.
Right.
That I'm old. So.
Right.
If you're in this business, you're a loan officer, a realtor, anything that touches real estate, you don't own real estate, go out and buy it today. Today.
Oh yeah, definitely. I gotta say something, Dave. This thing right here, like right here, the blankets. I keep thinking it's like a stack of towels behind me. Like I have to go put them back. I gotta go put them in the linen closet, but it's just a blanket. I'm like looking at it. I'm like, oh, it's towels. What are they doing in my office? And then I'm like, oh no. And then I like, oh, what is it? Oh no, it's blankets. Okay, it's the screen.
I'm looking at the cookies behind me, and I'm thinking to myself, I only had a protein shake for breakfast.
That is a pie, and
Ooh.
that looks really, really good. It kind of looks like a cheesecake with like blueberries or something on top. Oh gosh, that sounds really delicious. And yeah, I'm getting hungry now.
I am
Craving
too.
cheesecake.
And when you said cheesecake, I had cheesecake yesterday for our underwriting manager or our processing manager because that's her favorite thing in the world is cheesecake. I'm thinking to myself, man, I want to eat this so bad too, but I was good. I didn't eat anything.
Oh, well, good for you.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
be that strong. I can't be that strong. I'm gonna have to eat a piece of cheesecake. You know, and other sweets, I'm like, whatever. Cheesecake, I don't know. I gotta eat a piece of cheesecake.
Coffee's my only cheat right now. It's all healthy eating from here on out because it
Well, good
doesn't.
for you.
Once again, it's all about what you're going to do with your life. You can eat a bunch of cheesecake because I love that, right? Or or donuts or whatever it is, and that makes you feel down. Or work out, grab some protein shakes, a little coffee boost, and um, I don't know, maybe some grilled veggies for
It's
lunch.
just
I'm telling you,
right.
yeah.
That sounds like a good plan, and I have faith in you. Fully have faith in you. You're gonna stay away from the sweets.
I'm a better finance guy than I am at eating. I'll give it
Right. Same here. Same here.
Yeah, that's why I don't buy it because if it's in the fridge, I'm like, just this one time. But then the one time turns into a daily thing. It's all about the right habits, right?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like investing in real estate, right? You set aside your paychecks and you're thinking to yourself, man, I got all this money built up. It'd be nice to buy that new TV. And then it grows a little bit more. And you're like, man, it'd be nice to take that vacation. And then it grows a little bit more. You're like, man, I could get a new car for this, right? Bob down the street just bought a new car. It's amazing. I love it, right? And then it gets a little bit bigger. You're thinking, man, I could buy a TV, go on vacation, and buy that new car. Woo! That's what all the commercials on TV suggest that I should do with this little stockpile I've built up. The hardest thing is building that up daily, weekly, whenever you get paid, every time you get an opportunity, put it away so that you could save up enough to buy that investment property because it's
Right.
20% down for an investment property. That's a lot of money to save. That's a lot of discipline, right? That's harder to give up than cheesecake,
It's
right?
actually 15% with us.
Yeah, that's true.
We
15%.
can do 15%. So if anybody is out there, considering doing an investment property, I only need 15% down from you.
Yeah. And so here's the thing, like saving up that 15%, the return on investment for that is amazing, by the way. But it's just building it up to the point where you can make that investment and getting away from the emotional kind of like needs that your brain's like, gimme, gimme, gimme all the time, putting emotions to the side and using logic. I could say that for a
Right.
lot of America today. Put emotions to the side and use some logic. But it's true. We gotta, as a culture, as a society, as individuals, we need to, emotion less and logic more. It is what it is, right? Don't do what feels good. Do what is good in the long run.
Right.
So
Oh yeah.
that's my gold nugget for the day.
That's a good gold nugget, Dave. That is a good gold nugget because you just put it into like that's a great analogy. It's like seeing that cheesecake on the table. Should I go ahead and eat it, or should I refrain, right, from eating it because it's not good for me or it's not the best thing for me, right? So when it comes to putting your money towards things that doesn't give you that immediate return on things, but maybe over time it will. Um, it's all about having that self discipline,
And
that willpower.
I'll tell you something. People don't understand that anymore. They just don't. People, my friends make fun of me because my car is 8 years old. It's got issues, right? And they're like, bro, like, why don't you just buy a nicer car? I mean, you've got like all these houses paid off and you drive a piece of crap car. And I'm like, the reason why I've got houses paid off is because I drive a piece of crap car. I invest in a real estate, stock, or the mortgage business. That's it, right? I don't want a new car. I don't want a bigger TV. I don't. I don't want expensive stuff. This beautiful sweater I'm wearing, it's got all this like ribbed and everything on it. I
Okay,
got
here
it
we
at
go.
sale at Costco, right? Like that's it. In fact, I bought a bunch of them because they were on sale. I don't care. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I want my life back. I would rather have years to my life, enjoyable years while I'm still young and in good shape and healthy, right? Than to have a bunch of crap, right? I want to invest in the business and I want to invest in other things. And you're the same way too, Candace. We're looking at investment properties last week, right? So
Just a couple days ago. Just a couple days ago.
I'm a little heartbroken because the commercial property I wanted to buy was at a great deal, and I'm just waiting for a house to sell to buy it, and it sold before my house sold. So I'm a little brokenhearted today. I'll admit. See this little tear right there? I'm kidding.
You'll get over it. You'll find another spot, and that's the thing, right? So you just gotta
Yep.
get back on the horse, and you'll find another commercial property that maybe even be better than the one that you just lost.
Yes.
So, and that's one thing that I always encourage my borrowers when they're like, you know what, Candace, we're just gonna rent. We're just gonna renew our lease and just rent. And just like it only takes that one. It just takes one. So just keep going, keep trying, and keep looking. And I guarantee you, because I've seen this so many times in the past, I guarantee you that you are going to find a house that will exceed the previous homes that you've found, that you've maybe put an offer in and that you were outbid. You're going to find a better house, something that meets your needs and that will be worth waiting for. So all things happen for a reason, and I think that it is still very, very much worth it to keep looking and keep trying and going through that. I mean, that whole journey of just finding houses and putting in offers and finding a home and putting in an offer and finding a home, putting in an offer, it will pay off. So don't stop looking. So just don't give up.
Yeah.
For
I mean,
you, Dave, you need to buy another commercial property, or you need to buy a commercial property, because I see that in the books for you. I really do. So, just because this one sold, it's got, that pretty window in the front, it's got 2 stories or whatever. I know you loved it, but you will find another commercial property that will be even better.
yeah, it's kind of like I always kind of think of the real estate industry kind of like so many different things in life, and it's kind of like relationships too. Like the first person you ever dated, you didn't marry, right? It's the same thing with making offers on homes. It's the same thing with making offers on commercial properties. I love residential, and that's been a big plan of mine for the last 20 years since I was literally in my teens, right? Like I was all about residential real estate and buying that, right? And I've kind of progressed to the point where I want to go into commercial. So I wouldn't jump in the deep water. Uh, find out how good you are at residential before you jump into the deep water, right? When you learned to swim, you didn't go dive in the ocean off of a cruise ship, right? You probably paddled out a little bit on the beach, splashed around, came back in. And that's what we're saying. Like, don't go out and buy, especially when you're new to investing, don't go out and buy that big fancy property, right? Start small. Buy my favorite, how I started off, Candace knows this, the ugly house in the nice neighborhood. How ugly would I buy these houses?
I mean,
They're
just
bad.
terrible.
Terrible. Terrible. And it was not, I don't know how these TV shows, like they flip these houses and make like 100 grand. Like if I made 10 grand off of a flip, I'm freaking thrilled because I've only been into it for like, 30, 60 days. I'm not greedy. I'll flip a house, make 10 grand, flip another house, make 5 grand, flip another house, make 15. And it adds up. It adds up over time. And now you've got, a pretty decent nest egg to work with. The temptation's always there to, wow, I got 15 grand off that flip. Man, I could buy a nice used car for 15 grand. Don't do it. Don't do it. I think, yeah, even Candace is the same way. You don't drive a new fancy car either.
I drive an old beater car. Um, and there's just going to be a point where you got to upgrade. There's going to be a point, because I think that point is coming up pretty soon for me. But I do see people who have a car, they're in it for a couple of years, and they go and get another car. Another car in a couple for a couple of years and go get another car. The newest, the latest, the greatest, and everything like that. But when I paid off my vehicle, man, it was such a great feeling to pay that off. And years later, I mean, here I am, and I haven't had a car payment. And it's been great because I've been able to use that money for, more important things that actually give me a return. I've used my money to make money instead of, just paying off a car.
Yeah.
So,
They're good investment and bad investments out there. Car is one of the worst investments you can make, and everybody knows that. But it's an emotional buy, so we buy it because it smells good, it looks pretty, and then a year down the road, it's like all that cool stuff that you bought it for is worn off. Whereas if you buy a house, after 5 years, you're thinking, "Holy moly! Look at how much the tenant has chopped off of my mortgage. Look at how much my bank account has grown from that." Or look at you know, I rented it for a year and then sold it when the market was higher. Right now is a great time to buy and hold. Like you want to, when the market's going up and up and up and up, you want to hold on to those homes. Buy 3, 4, 5 homes now and sell it. Don't get greedy. Don't try to get at the peak. But when you get, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 equity, sell it, buy another house, roll it into another house, get a little bit nicer house, get a little bit. It's like playing Monopoly, right? You save up all of your money, buy a little greenhouse, you get another little greenhouse, you get another little greenhouse, and then by the time you can afford the big red hotel, it's usually been a little while. Like you've gone around the board a lot of times, right?
right,
Don't rush it. Enjoy the experience. Enjoy the journey. You're not trying to get to a destination. There is no destination in life, right? Except you're dead, right? And so we want to enjoy the journey because that's life, right?
right.
And it's fun to like. I'm kind of nostalgic. I like old like Victorian homes. That's why some of the ones that I found were complete disasters. But more than the money, it was fun to walk in and be like, "Wow, I restored this place, and it is amazing. It's so cool." Like these floors are from like 100 years ago. Think of how many people have walked across these things, right? They're hidden underneath nasty carpet, and there's these beautiful, like thick hardwood planks. I mean, there's so many cool things that you can do, right? And for me, it was hard to flip those houses. I have one house that I'm still renting today. I bought it as a flip, and I could never bring myself to flip it. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. The tenant's tearing it up a little bit, but um, I still love it. It's so cool. It's got like back history. We won't go down that, but find the passion in it, and you will do it. Does that make sense? Like
Right.
if you're doing it just to make money, it'll never last. If you're doing it because it's something cooler, you're doing it for your kids, you're doing it to restore some history, you're doing it because it's fun, you're doing it because you get to meet a lot of cool people, that's a great reason to do it. If you're doing it because you're like, "Hey, I want to make more money," it'll fade quick.
Right. And it won't be fun.
No.
And it'll be stressful. Then you're worried about, all the money that it takes, or, got to close because I need money or whatever. You just have, you have that. If that is the results that you're looking for, that is just monetary, then it won't be fun for you.
It's like all things in life. Don't work a job because of money, right? Work a job that you're passionate about.
Oh, yeah. I got this one. She's squiggling around everywhere. Look at her.
Oh yeah.
She is like, she lays on my lap and she'll sleep there as I'm working, and she's just a good, assistant. Right, Zoe?
I love this work from home. Like this is the best. I wake up every morning. I'm super motivated. I can't wait to get in my little home office and respond back to people who are buying houses or refinancing, helping loan officers structure. I love helping all of our team. And then like you got little dogs on your lap. It's so much better than sitting in traffic for an hour to get to the office, and then you can't have pets in the office, and you don't have cool coffee at the office. Well, I guess we did, but I love this work from home post Corona stuff. Don't you?
Yeah, it's great. I love being here with my dogs. Um, and there's something about an office environment that I love that I just can't get here. So, I'm kind of I'm kind of 50-50. I really miss an office.
Yeah, the buzz of an office is always nice when you've got all the people out on the floor talking. They're discussing real estate. The realtors are coming in. The loan officers are coming in. The insurance people are asking questions. It's just I do like the healthy buzz of an office, but I guess yeah, you're right. We got to get it good either way. I've also noticed a lot of people struggle working from home. A lot of loan officers. It's
They do. They do.
yeah,
It is in that it's because it's hard. They need that accountability. They need somebody to really that's there that motivates them just in person, you know?
yeah.
Um, so it's difficult for a lot of people. Thankfully, majority of our team, I mean, I can't think of anybody who's really struggling from working from home. I mean, everybody's doing a great job at it. You know, just making sure that they are self-starters, they're go-getters, they go and they, work hard. I have full confidence in them. So
That's
it's
why a lot of people think we're crazy because we do like a personality test before we hire anybody. And it's not so that, we don't use it necessarily as a determination if we're going to hire somebody or not. But when we have that interview, we tell them, hey, you're really low D, right? You don't have a lot of drive. It is what it is, right? So you're going to have to build yourself a really like detailed schedule because like for me, I'm a high D. I wake up every morning, I'm excited. I can't wait to get to the office or my little home office here now, right? I'm excited. I can't wait to see what new things are popping up today. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for me, right? But with a low D person, they're going to be like, I could sleep 10 more minutes. I could, read the news. I could just one episode of Netflix and then 12 episodes later because it's, click next, click next, click next. That's why I canceled all our streaming TV, right? So that it avoids that temptation. But we don't use it as a determination for hiring people. We use it as a coaching opportunity. And people will say, you know what? I like you guys and I'd love to work with you, but you're right. It's hard for me to get up and get motivated. I need to go to an office where somebody's going to micromanage me. Great. Go to our call center side because we got a call center side that doesn't report to Candace or any of her managers, but it reports a different division of our team, and that is where they need to go, where somebody's going to be monitoring their calls and asking where they were. And you slept in again today. You got to clock in. Well, we don't want to do that. We don't want to be babysitters. I did that when I was at corporate. I had to micromanage people. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to micromanage, especially loan officers, right? Because I encourage my loan officers to go out there and to get out in the field and to speak to as many people as you can. But micromanaging that is very difficult. So, you know, that's why the DISC assessment is very, very important for us to obtain because it kind of gives us an idea, right? It really does give us an idea. And it really could help make a lot of sense about somebody.
It does because as a loan officer, they're really kind of two wings of the business, right? You're either on the dialer calling out people who did an online inquiry, right? You're either calling down all those people that are shopping online, or you're doing all the things on the greatness tracker, which is you're making videos, you're following up with your past customer database, you're on the phone a lot. You're either on the phone or you're going out to events as a loan officer. Gone are the days where a loan officer could just sit in their cubicle at the office and somebody walk in and say, "Hey, I want to buy a house." Like when the home buyers that are watching this, right? When's the last time that you're like, "Hey, I want to buy a house"? I think I'll walk into some random, mortgage company and try to find somebody in the cubicle. It just ain't going to happen, right? So there's two very easy ways that we track if somebody's going to be successful or not. They're either making the calls or they're doing the right activities, right? And they're turning in that sheet to Candace or one of the managers every single day or once a week if they're good at it. But if they're new, every single day. And if they're not doing the calls and they're not doing the activities, then they'll be out of business. They'll be one of those people because there's a lot of people that'll like join our team well, not our team. We try to do a better job of filtering it out, but we'll join the industry. They maybe I don't know, had a finance job before, a salary job before, and they get into this and they're like, man, this is tough. I'm like, it's not tough if you're doing the calls or the activities, but you can't survive unless you're doing one of the two things. It just is
Right.
impossible. It's
Yeah.
impossible. I've been in for 2 decades. Nobody's proved me wrong since. I've had hundreds of people reporting to me. I've seen it all. I've seen people try to reinvent the wheel. Never happens. You're either making the calls or you're doing the activities. One of those two things. Otherwise, you're out of business, right? The only anomalies are the people who, like, their dad owns a building company, or their uncle owns a bank and that bank doesn't do mortgages and they get all the business from there. But they're doing the right activities. So once again, you're either making the calls or doing the activities. Would you agree with that,
Oh
Candace?
yeah, definitely.
There's no in between.
Absolutely.
Now, there's a lot of fancy stuff that you can buy online, right? How many times do they try to sell stuff via Facebook to loan officers? For just $9.95 or $5.95 a month or $9.99 a month, right? For just $500 a month, you won't have to make any calls. You won't have to do any activities. People will just
Yeah.
randomly buy houses
No.
from you, and you'll make $1
There's,
million
there's,
a
there's
month.
no such thing. There's just no such thing.
Never, never. No little text bot, no little whatever is going to be as good as a human. Nobody wants to do business with a machine. Not yet, right? Especially when it's the largest financial transaction of their life. It's some little bot that pops up that's like, "Hey, do you want to buy a house? Great!" You know, like, if bots worked, we wouldn't need loan officers, right?
Right. Right.
So
So, well, I love having this conversation with you, Dave. I love just kind of going back and forth and just kind of bantering a little bit here and there. Um, and it's been great. So I look forward to doing, more of these videos and, just kind of talking about just the daily life, what we deal with and, you know, what has impacted us and, the ever changing, industry that we call the mortgage industry. So I appreciate you, doing this with me. It's been
yeah,
fun.
and guys, stay tuned. We're going to be doing a lot more of these too. There'll be of various lengths. Some of them will be kind of chopped up so that you guys won't have to listen to an hour-long video. It'll be like 2 and 10-minute segments. If you do want like a longer version, just let us know. We'll have links associated with this where you can get your free home valuation report. You can get a free quote. You can get a market update. You can get whatever you want. We got lots of different tools. Well, you can even reach out to us, even if you just want to know if the agent or the loan officer that you're working with is professional or not. We'll be able to pull all their stats and send it to you. There's nothing hidden in this business. We've got the resources for it all. You're thinking about selling your house and you want to know what an estimated value of it would be. We've got tools to do that. We have some clients
Yep.
up in Tennessee that just requested that. And they ended up selling their house. They made a ton of money off of it in the summertime, and they're buying back this time because homes are a lot cheaper in January than they are in July. So they're doing the smart thing, right? They sold their house. They've got hundreds of thousands of dollars. They moved in with their parents for 6 months. And now they're buying back, and there's just a lot. And they want like a little market analysis. What's our market doing right now? We put in the zip code. It's easy. We'll offer you all those free things. Just reach out, just click below or whatever you're watching us on. We'll just request it from us and we'll send it to you. We're here to help. We're here to educate, and we're whether you're a home buyer, loan officer, realtor, builder, whatever your role is, we're here to help you. We got a lot of great things to offer, and if there is something that you need that we don't offer, let us know that too. We're always open for suggestions. There's always the cool next thing, right, Candace?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's always new things coming along.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. We appreciate your time. Hopefully, you're enjoying a hot cup of whatever it is that you drink. I got some tea. We got coffee, and we got the little snow in the background. So hopefully, wherever you're at, you're healthy, you're blessed, you're just enjoying life, and hopefully, we've made it just a little bit nicer.
Thank y'all. Have a great one. Is that